right. So in the last video, I made a tick system that would fire off once a second, and uh, I was able to send that with an API to everything inside of a group, and anything that is inside of that world tick system group is going to receive this tick. And then I was able to have a downstream script from a system grab that tick that fires here and do something. Right now it's showing a little light flashing. I think one tick a second is pretty good, because one of the future goals with this is to turn this into something of a music game. So if you start with 60 BPM, then that can be a very good slow lo-fi type beat. So um, so eventually we could get it up a little bit faster to 120 BPM if the game needed to move faster, or if we want to drop some drum and bass 180, which is a little bit faster than 174, which is most drum and bass. But yeah, that would be fun, and so 60 is a good divisor. But what I'm going to do is, one of the next things that I really need to learn is how to make things with a script. How to make something from scratch and drop it into the world. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new scene. Okay, it's going to be a 2D scene, and I'm going to try to do as much of this with script as possible. So I have this node 2D, which is, the start, and I'm going to see if I can generate all of the child nodes inside of this with a script. So let's go ahead and attach this, and let's call this ball underscore main. All right. And so now node 2D as this new scene. I'm just going to call this scene ball main as a scene, and hopefully let's drop this into scripts, and let's drop this into scenes. I bet there's some way to make the scene folder and the scripts folder have defaults. When you're creating a new scene, it goes into your scenes folder. So what I'm going to do is, I've got this script now attached to this node2D, and when it is ready, this is when I need to have it do things. So this is kind of that initialization script, like a connected callback or initialized callback or whatever. So in JavaScript, this right here typically means that this is a private function. I need to actually find out, what does this mean in Godot? So function name. Okay, it is a private property or method. Virtual functions that are meant to be overridden by a subsequent class. Interesting. Okay, so it's probably not that important for me to put this in here, and I'm not worried about it to begin with. I'll let the system put those underscores in front of, I'm guessing, kind of protected system processes like process, physics process, and ready. So I'm just going to call this make child circle, because I'm going to make a little marble. And maybe this turns into a marble machine game. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably have an input for this. Let's make this at export radius, and that's going to be a float. And export position. It's going to be a vector 2. Huh, interesting. And I think what I'm going to just do is put in self.global position as the initiating position to this. Now, why? Another resource is loaded. Okay, so let's just type pass here so this shuts up. I don't know what that means. Export radius is loaded from path. I have done something wrong. This is ball main. Oh. I need to know what all the initializers are for Godot. So Godot using variables. Is it just variable? I get that I'm making some, so there's no difference between let or, I guess there is const. Variable and const, are those the only two things? Enum also uses constant as its element. As for const, we're going down a rabbit hole. Where was this talking? All right, immutability. There's a different memory management. Static keyword. This means that the value will be resolved at compile time. There will be no memory allocation at runtime when the value is consumed, since its value will be stored as metadata. Will your game run faster if you use constants? I don't know, but it's always good practice to treat constants as constants. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Basically, you want as many restrictions on your own programming as possible. You don't want to use, a kitchen knife as a pry bar because you're going to break your kitchen knife. And you want to make it as hard as possible to have hidden errors inside of your script. Now, we're not really doing anything that complicated here. And these are variables, so we need for these to be able to change potentially downstream from when they're initialized, but I believe that these get initialized immediately, and then I can use this export prefix here, which allows me to change these variables at runtime. So I'm just going to keep moving forward. So we're going to make this child circle, and what we're going to do is draw a circle. and the position is the position, radius, color. Oh, I need that filled. Bool equals true. Is there a way that I can just have it drop all of those in there? That would be so nice if I could just have it. Radius and color and width, float, anti-alias, filled, width. Okay, so we haven't, all right, we need to initialize those. So at export variable color, and that's a vector 2, I believe. Or is it? No, it's a color. I'll just technically a vector 3. I wonder if there's implicit type coercion for that. I guess let's just make it a white circle. So filled. All right, and this is not called TypeScript, but this is strongly typed. We're taking this language which is not strongly typed, and it doesn't have to be, and then we can add strongly typed to it. So filled is equal to a bool, and we're going to initialize that as true. So then we have our width, and boy, do I wish I remembered what we had for this. Float width is equal to -1, and anti-alias is a boolean. So we're going to just drop those in before we forget. Float, bool. All right, now let's make this true, and float is equal to -1 point. I believe we're allowed to do that. And bool doesn't exist. Does color exist? Why is color in vector 2 capitalized and then bool and float not? Ooh. Okay. So now we can draw a circle. And then another thing that I would like to do is I would like to say variable what? Collision circle is equal to forgot how to do this. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Collision object 2D.new. Yes. Okay. Is it a method? No. Okay. So then collision circle dot radius. All right. we need to go and learn a little bit about that node. So let's add a child node, and we're going to make it a collision shape 2D. And then the shape is a circle shape. Gotcha, so we need to make a new circle shape, and then we can give it a radius. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that script, and shape is equal to circle shape 2D. Is that it? I believe so. And then we say collision shape dot radius. No, we don't. All right. We already did this. Let's do it again. Our shape is going to be circle shape 2D. And then we do get to pick the radius inside of here. But why don't I get to pick that inside of the script? Because I typed in collision circle. Collision shape dot collision shape 2D Godot goal radius. Circle shape 2D. Okay. So we have to set the collision circle dot shape equal to collision shape, and then collision circle dot shape dot radius is equal to radius. All right. Now, if I save this, I believe what I need to do is I need to, can I just run this scene, play this scene? Invalid access to property key global position on base type. Play the scene. All right. Vector 2, 0, 0. It helps to call our function. That makes all of the things. So let's play this scene. All right, I think that might fix this. Property. So this doesn't allow us to do new here. That would be y is equal to collision shape 2D. New. Huzzah! Okay, I don't know what collision object is. I need to learn about what a collision object is. All right, so we have this collision circle.shape is equal to new collision shape 2D.new. And let's just see if we can run this now. Well, that's worse than giving an error because now there's no errors. All right. Position is equal to position. All right. That's necessary. So I think that these are all names that exist under node 2D. And so when you typed in radius, you were actually taking this parent and finding the radius. I believe that self dot so like if you wanted to print on the creation of this node 2D, like print position parent position comma position, then this right here is actually grabbing the position of the node 2D. So I think that's kind of bad. I don't think that's how this is supposed to work. I think you should type self, and that's like this dot position because that's being created underneath this node 2D. That's my guess. Let's just see if in a test this. Yeah, okay. Gotta go fix all the problems I created for myself. Yeah, I believe this is true. So if we were to pop in here and make the transform of the position equal to this right here, and then we ran this scene again. That is it. That is true. Holy moly. Okay, so we have to be really careful when defining variable names so that it does not mess with the variables that get inherited from the parent that this script is running on. Okay, so that was a good instinct. From now on, I'm going to declare everything as self.position, self.radius, and stuff like that. Because that's going to help me remember that this is a crazy language. Okay, so now we've defined this incoming radius, incoming position, incoming color, incoming filled, incoming width, incoming anti-alias, and are drawing this circle with these things. Now, unfortunately, I am not seeing that circle that got created, and I don't know why. That might be a reason. So that was an integer going into a float. I don't know if that would have caused a problem or not. Let's try it again. Godot, draw a circle. Where is it? Function, draw, add a script, and then override the underscore, draw a function. Okay, so this is a default function. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, this is just a ooh, fun. Okay. So we have learned some things. Make a collision circle. And then we need to make a collision circle. And then we are going to copy all of this. And we're going to put this here. And then we're going to override our draw function and draw this circle inside of the draw function. And so now this is overriding what will get drawn inside of this, which is really interesting. I wonder if putting nodes underneath this node get called by the draw function. And then by overriding this with draw circle, it basically takes whatever was going to be in there and just overrides it. Animated polygons, draw a number of large simple objects such as a board or grid for 2D game. Custom drawing avoids the overhead of using a large number of nodes. All right. Draw set transform. Super cool, super cool. I would wonder if you could make an entire game drawing everything out with script instead of. Of course, you can create an entire game, draw it all out in script. Just probably only a mad person would do that. Sounds great. Let's do it. I think that's it. I think that little. I think that's it. Okay. So if I make the incoming radius equal to 100, man, I just keep doing that. Yep, that was it. That little thing was it. Okay, so we have our circle now. And it starts at 0, 0. And 0.2. And let's make this 0.8 and 0.4. Pretty colors. Okay, and my guess is that okay, cool. I'm going to save this scene. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop into the world here. And I'm going to create a new node. And I think I'm just going to call it a node 2D. And this might be something that we need to do later. But I'm just going to make this ball spawner. Okay. And so I already have the world script, creating the ticks and calling the ticks, the tick API group here. And so I need to make the ball spawner a part of the tick API group. And I'm going to attach a script to this perfect ball spawner. And then the function that gets called with every tick is the incoming tick API. And then I think I have message here. And let me go double check what I had inside of, I believe that it was this window. And I'm just going to copy this. I might need to actually see of ticks. And so that basically takes the delta, which is some crazy number, and constantly rounds down. If tick fired, okay, so I have something in here, tick fired. I don't think I need all of this. Okay. So I'm rounding down because I should basically send like tons of ticks per second, every single frame. And I'm trying to do this I have to go back and look at exactly what was doing there, but what I'm going to do is I am going to say that I know that it's supposed to send out 6 ticks a second. I gotta remember what I did here. Sorry. So the ticks per second is equal to 6. Total ticks and start plus equal ticks. So delta times 6. So I'm basically dividing every 1 second by 6. So every 6 ticks is equal to 1 second. All right, cool. I remember how I did this now. So let's go back to our ball spawner. And basically, if the ticks rounded is equal to 6, so we've got our modulus function here on the number of 6, and if the remainder of dividing the ticks rounded by 6 is equal to 0, then what we are going to do is we are going to spawn a ball. So here is where uh, I don't know how to do this. So Godot, spawn a scene from script. Excellent. These say the same thing. Preloading the scene can improve. Awesome sauce. Okay, so I think this is what I need. So now I have ball main scene is equal to preload. Res slash scenes ball main scene. Don't know what T is. This is probably scene. Okay. And ball instance is equal to, let's type it so we remember, variable ball instance is equal to ball main scene dot instantiate, and then we're just going to add child ball instance. All right, and let's see if we just start making balls. Float an integer. Variable ticks rounded is equal to floor message. Float and float. What are you talking about? It's working over here in the window. Okay. Godot convert float to int. Okay. All right, we're making balls. So the next thing that I think I would like to do is just show that it's making a ball every second. So I think what I need to do is I've already forgotten how to give things uh, function physics process delta float void pass. Okay, so I don't need this anymore here, and I don't really need this here anymore either. So what would probably be good is for the entire world to have like a gravity uh, variable that was available everywhere. And so I wonder if there's a way that you can make like a top level global variable like world underscore gravity, where you could change that variable and then it changes for literally everything for every physics process. I know that that's possible. I just don't know how to do it yet. We'll have to figure that out at a future point. Right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to make velocity, helps to spell velocity, and we said we were going to do self dot velocity is equal to, I think it's a vector 2, and then we have x 0, and then let's make that 1. And I think that's enough to work. Getting a phone call, 1 second. All right, I am back. I apologize. So I believe that just self dot velocity as a vector 2, nope, can't do that. To node 2D. Okay, so can I just convert this from a node? Can I just change the type of this? I think I can. Rigid body 2D. And let's just call this ball parent. And then I think I need to delete this. Why am I getting a, this node has no shape? Oh, right, that's interesting. I'm getting this is just a warning though, and I think I'm correctly creating the collision circle underneath here. But let's just give this another run and see if that works. Velocity on base object type. No AI. We're learning. get gravity delta. All right. So I don't exactly know what the purpose of a rigid body is, but let's go ahead and let's stop this. And let's change this type one more time. Instead of a rigid body, we'll make it this into a character body. And then this is still just extending node 2D, and I think this needs to extend character body. And then I think all the self functions should still work correctly, but let's try this. Dang. Okay. Vector 2, 0, 1. Print self ball velocity is equal to self dot velocity. Ooh, it's increasing. All right, so now both of them are running each time. All right. Times delta. All right. Interesting. So we've got collisions, we've got inputs, we've got velocities, process, mode, inherit, priority, thread group, script. Character body, 2D, script. Maybe I should just do it velocity y. Dot velocity dot y plus equal to 1 delta. Yep, it's the same thing. So the vector 2 was working fine. Now let's just find out if for some reason that's what's messing something up. Nope. Okay, we're going to go back to strongly typed. I actually don't even know what this is. Calling the inheritance out. Boy, I wish I knew more about coding. Okay, so it would appear that the velocity is not enough if direction move and slide. Is that what I need to do?
Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this part 2 video I want to continue
Godot make character body fall towards ground. Okay, I'm doing this. Move and slide. Self dot gravity times delta. Oh, it was just moving so slow that I couldn't see it. Interesting, interesting. I wonder then what the velocities are. But hey, it's working. Well, that's interesting. Why is it stretching? Why is it stretching? Okay, I don't think we need to overflow the print anymore. All right, what is it doing? Okay, so this should only happen once, I believe. Does this get changed? Does this redraw every frame? Litmus test. We are going to undo this and we are going to create a new. Did not mean to do that. Delete checkbox. Control A to create a new node, and then we are going to create a polygon 2D, and let's just set material. I think I can just okay. So now let's see if no, that one's creating those weird trails too. So it wasn't the script redrawing a bunch of times. Something weird is going on here. Let's go back to the script And we can uncomment this. And then we can pop into our world. Trail behind moving character 2D in Godot. Make trail go away. Line 2D to your script. Creates echoes in Godot. Negative. Intentional visual effect in your code. It is not intentional, I can tell you that. It's cool. It's cool that it's doing that. I would love to know how to do that so I could, one, turn it off, and two, do it on purpose in the future. What the heck? Slide on ceiling. Now, I feel like at some point in time, grounded versus floating. Collision, safe margin. Node 2D. Collision object 2D. Are these all the things that get created underneath this? If so, that's kind of cool. I should make a smaller ball. Yes, it does. Good. Godot. There has a trail of previous frames. Make it go away. Stop. It's not jitters. It is not monitor ghosting. It has to be. Has to be something like, well, we turned this off. This only gets called once. Q redraw. Maybe that's what I need to do. Nope. Okay, so we are going to back some things out here to try to figure out what is going on. We need to pass this function. Okay, that's not it. Okay, let's try this. We're going to make this. I forget how to do this as well. So place random tile. No, don't want to do that. Tile set, rendering, physics. Godot make character body collide with tile map. Boy, do I wish that there was a way to like read step by steps instead of videos. Physics layer in the inspector and click add element. Setup. Use textures. ID 0. And the bottom panel, open the tile set resource. Click add element. All right, collision layer 1, and I think that there's something else that I need to do here. Huh. I don't think that fixed it. Nope, it's still going straight through. So I need to I thought I had to select. collision shaped tiles. While still in the tile set editor tab, select your tile set sheet. Select the specific tiles you want to be solid. In the bottom panel, click the physics tabs and select the physics layer you just created. All right, I'm starting to get a bit of a headache. Painted my terrain, add the physics layer. Under scene, left side, under inspector, where it says tile set, open the physics layer and say add an element. So that's what I did. I added an element. Now under tile set again, bottom, go to the select tab, not setup, not paint. Thank you. Once again, just don't look at AI. Physics layer 0. Okay. Physics, then physics layer 0. Scroll down, find and click the add polygon tool. In the small extract of your tile selection just below this add polygon. Click the upper left corner of the tile, a diamond will appear. Man, I don't remember doing that. Alright, I don't remember doing that part, but let's see if it works. Still not working. Okay. All of those appear to be in there. Maybe the ball spawner doesn't have a collision. Or maybe the collision doesn't move with the ball parent. Debug visible collision shapes. All right, interesting. It might be useful to add child collision circle. Yeah, it's making a bunch of them. I've made a fluid simulation particle generator. Oh, they're goofy. All right, this is huge breakthroughs. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so now. I believe the problem with it making multiple is in here. The ball spawner. I believe is going to tell us what's wrong. So ball spawn yeah, that should be all I need to confirm this, is that it will make like a bunch of them at a time. Yep, that's what's happening. Okay, so print message. Ball spawner incoming tick API message. Okay. So it's getting a whole bunch where the floor is equal to 6. So there's a couple ways that we can do this. We can use a on-off bool to solve this problem, which will work. That's what we did with the previous thing, and then I deleted it like a dweeb. So we could just say tick fired is equal to bool is equal to false, is a bool equal to false to start, and then we only check this stuff if the bool is equal to false. So if tick fired, and this is bad. We don't want to do things this way because if it gets instantiated wrong, so let's make this variable last tick. Like there's a thing that could happen to where it just never fires if we do that wrong. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to make something that is variable. So last tick number is going to be an integer. And we're going to get our integer out of a float. And we're going to get it on the floor. Get it on the floor. Let's make that 0. Okay. And so what we're going to do is if tick rounded is modulus the modulus of ticks rounded divided by 6 is equal to 0, then we need to then check if tick rounded modulus 6 is not equal to the last tick number. Okay, and so what that means is that the first tick that we get that's divisible by 6, then it's going to say, cool, let's go ahead and then ask the question if the ticks rounded modulus is not equal to the last tick number. And that means that it has gone another multiplication number times 6. So that is our next set of 6 ticks that we're getting. Our next multiple of 6 that is popping in, so that would be 12. And so if the floor ticks rounded is equal to 12, then it's no longer equal to the previous number 6. And then what we need to do is we need to go ahead and make that last tick number equal to ticks rounded. And this is wrong. Okay, so we're asking first if the ticks rounded is divisible by 6 with a remainder of 0, and if that's true, then we check to make sure that it's not firing multiple times on the same multiple of 6, and if it's not, then we set the last tick number to ticks rounded, and then we can go ahead and spawn that ball, and I think that that's going to get rid of our ball trail. Boop, 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 boop. Awesome. Okay, that is enough for today. Boy, that was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. I learned a lot, and now I have a headache. Wondering if I just want to make a marble machine game first, where you can just click and drag parts of a marble machine, and then the marbles will drop through the machine, and that would be pretty cool. But